for you guys that may have, already joined Gavar already, or are about to, and you haven't gone through the Zipform setup, you do have to go through it, just one time, because then from there on, then you get access to the Zipform system from then on, after you run through the first setup. So, do have Victoria's account here, but I'm gonna log out of that. So where we start with is car.org here. And if you already have an account, you would simply just go to sign in, top right corner, and you would enter in your username and password here, and then that'll get you into Zipforms. However, if you're new and you don't have an account, what you can do is you can click on that sign in button, and then you can click on register right here in the middle of the screen. When you click on register, it's going to ask you for two things: your NRDS number and your last name. If you're signed up with Gavar, your NRDS number should be included in like the paperwork or the correspondence that they provide to you. If not, you can look it up right here. There's a little link you can click on. So you click on that, and then it brings you to this page where it's going to ask you, you get two options here to find the member ID or the NRDS number. Easiest, I find, is the second one, last name and real estate license number. So with you, Andrew, that's Rionis, right?
Yeah.
And then do you know your license number?
No. I have the paper at home.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have the cards. Is it on the cards?
Yeah,
It's going to be on the card, yeah.
it should be in the back side.
He's running.
This is it right here? Or is it?
It's like
The
that.
ID number?
Right there.
Okay, it's 021.
0, 2,
Yeah. 67032.
6, 7, 0. Alrighty. And then if it finds you, you'll find the NRDS number on the next page. So I'm going to just copy that and save it for the first page here. So I'm going to put that in. And then just so you guys know, there is, if you don't have your card or anything like that, you can also always go through the dre.ca.gov website. And from here, you can do a verify real estate license. It's the link down here at the bottom. And you can just simply put in the agent's first or last name, comma, first name. And click find. And it's gonna, look through all of California and so on. And then you'll be able to find the person's DRE record as well as their license number on the next screen. So it is all just public information you can look up at any time for any agent, real estate agent. So we would find the same thing there too. Okay, so we got our NRDS number. Now we're gonna punch in the last name. Submit. All right, so then at this point, it's going to send a verification email to the email address that you gave to Gavar when you signed up with them. So it could be your personal email or, again, whichever email you provided to them. So I'm gonna click send code. And the moment Andrew here should receive
Oh, I just got it. Okay, let me get the verification code.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 434 390.
All right, so then now we get to the username and password setup. Username could be anything you want. It could be first and last name, something simple. Could make it your email address. They leave it pretty open, for you to choose. Yeah, we can do that. So
It's a.briones. And then at kmb.com.
All right.
You need that to log in anytime you wanna log into the Zipform, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be your username, going forward after you set it for Zipforms.
Okay.
And then, password, I'll set something up, and then we should be able to reset it, afterwards to, a password that you would like to use.
So Mike, can we change our username, or once it's set up, that's it, huh?
Let me, I know there's an account page once that you can view after you set up. And there's some options there that you can customize.
Because Gavar had set it up with Gantt dot.
Yeah, so Gantt is actually gonna be your username for Flex MLS. It's Gantt and then a 5-digit number
Yeah.
is what that one is. That's different, that's totally different from this.
Oh, because it set up all my accounts through that. It like linked.
With that Gantt,
When I set it up, yeah, through Gavar, and then, or when I set it up, because I didn't put that in, it told me that's the password, that's the username.
yeah, so that will be, or that is your username
Okay.
for Flex MLS. That's the one that they give you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not one that you choose because it's Gantt dot and then like your 5-digit number that they give you. So yeah, you're right about that. That one they give to you. It's set. That you can't change. But with Zipforms, it's we set it up. You know, for the first time, we get to choose what it is. All right.
Like she was saying, when they set me up, they used the number and then my password.
Yeah, because that's what it actually used the same password and the same, what password, it used it for everything.
Yeah.
For the Sentry, for all of that.
Yeah, so all of the other services that are provided through Gavar, yeah, they would use the same information for all
Oh,
of
maybe
that.
that's what, 'cause it-
And yeah, it does apply to Flex MLS, but also, yes, to Sentry Lock as well. Same username and password for that system as well. All right, so we got a username and password here.
It's some type of program. I haven't looked too deep into it. I don't really know what it is.
And then we're gonna click on continue. All right, so then, after that, then it'll say registration is successful. And now we need to go back to the home page. All right, from here, now, now when you go back to car.org after you do the setup, and you'll probably receive like a confirmation email that your account is now set up, you know, different things like that from car. All right, so now that we're here, I'm gonna sign in now. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in our new username and password. And we're just gonna sign in. All right, so then what that'll do is it'll probably just bring you back to the main screen here. And let's have a look at the profile. So it'll show your name on the top right corner after you're signed in. Let's look at the, oh, yeah, you have right here, change username or password.
Oh, okay.
As one of the options from the menu there. All right, and then right down here, yeah, username, you can edit that. Oh, and it'll tell you here, yeah, your current username is this, and then what you'd like to change it to, and your current password.
Okay.
Okay.
And then also from that, that same page, we should also have the option down here to change the password for Zipforms as well. All right. Okay, so then now we're signed in, and easiest way to get into Zipforms, I find, is if you click on this Access Secure Transaction button right here from the home screen. That'll bring you to this page.
You said access secure what?
It's access secure transaction, so it's like this.
First, the big
this
circle.
First bubble that's on this, on the main
Thank
page.
you.
You can click there. And then what we're looking for is this first box right here, transactions, access Zipform. So what it'll do when you click that button, it'll bring up this loading page here. That's kind of like verifying your membership. And then you can click on the orange, go to transactions button. Now what this will do is it'll open Zipforms in another window. It'll look like this. And once you're here, so for those of you setting this up for the very first time, you'll see this screen right here, which is just confirming your company and profile information. So just go through this and verify that your name and your name is correct. Company, yeah, Keller Williams. It does, if your phone number's not in there, you do have to put it in, so.
661-341-4070.
4070. All right, we'll click on continue. Email is required.
You must have a good memory.
'Cause
'Cause how do you know how to spell my last name? Everybody always struggles with that.
I think it's just like the unique last names or things like that. Like, it's just certain things like passwords. I'm pretty good with. Like if you tell me what your password is, chances are I'll probably remember it like after a couple times. So things like that. But I don't know. It's just like, well, I did have to put it in a couple times just
Yeah.
before, so I think it's that. Just stuff
It's
is
coming
coming.
to you, yeah.
They say if you write it, you can remember.
All right, so we'll click on
I guess that's true.
continue. And then, once you click continue on that first page there, then you'll get to the license agreement and just say yes,
Continue.
continue.
So once you put that information, you go to that screen and confirm that your license number? Is that what that is?
It's just, you're confirming your profile
Your profile.
information. Yeah, your profile info. And chances are you actually won't see this setup screen or anything like this ever, after you set it up the first time. You'll see this page, which will just say, thank you for your order, and kind of just have like this, this software and libraries page here. This kind of just tells you, you have access to all of these different services which are part of Zipforms. Once I'm here, I like to just close this page out, and then once again, I'm gonna go back to the home page on car, just car.org. And one more time, I'm gonna click on access the secure transaction. And I'm gonna click on access Zipforms here. And, from here on, now that you guys log into Zipforms, you should just see this page right here. So for the first time, you'll probably see like this tutorial come up. Get to know Zipforms Plus. You can, recommend that you guys go through that, see, what information it's able to give you. I'm gonna go ahead and skip that for now.
So do we have the plus membership or the regular, the Zip?
This would be, it's Zipforms Plus. And so there'd be that version of it. I'm not sure what the differences are between Plus and
Regular one.
the regular Zipform would be. But then we have this page, and this is Zipforms that we're looking at here.
So this is where you get all your forms, right?
Yeah, so this is where all of the disclosures, all the forms, everything comes from here, or it's accessed through here. One thing you guys would want to check out first while you're in here is your profile information in Zipforms. And the way you get to that is if you click on this little picture at the top right corner, and then you can click on Profile and Settings. All right, and then I would just like to go through this and just verify that your information is correct. So like your name, email, phone number. Again, it was just the stuff, probably the same things that we put in on the setup page right before. But it helps just to kind of go through this and see what what's here. So we're on the About Me tab. Click on Sign In Security. So this is when you click on Sign In Security, under Sign In Information, you'll find a username in here, and this is totally, well, looks different than what we had just set up with CAR. And not to go off too much on a tangent here, but when it comes to setting up Zipforms to Docusign, so the Docusign account that Keller Williams agents or anyone that is a member of Keller Williams gets access can get access to a Docusign account. That Docusign account can then be connected directly to Zipforms. So what we're seeing here, there is a way you can link the two together and basically get access to the same forms and transactions that you start here in Zipforms directly into Docusign. And the nice thing about that is then that Docusign account with Keller Williams can then get connected to Command. And then Command, KW Command, which is now your transaction platform with us here in the office, Docusign serves as that middleman between the two, Zipforms and Command. So then you can bring all your forms into Docusign, get them Docusign there, be able to split your forms up within Docusign, and then that is then connected to the transaction or the opportunity is what we call them here in KW. Have all your forms accessed through there, and then you'd be able to easily drag and drop them into the transaction that you have going. It all starts with this username that you see right here. I am working on like a how-to video on that setup with when it comes to setting up Zipforms to Docusign. I should have that out fairly soon, but it revolves around this username that we have here, and not the one that we had just set up just a moment ago. So this is where we find this information, this username for that. And what's kind of weird is this in itself has like its own password, and I'll explain that in that how-to process. Essentially, we need to take this username and do a password reset for it, and you can make it the same password you use for Zipforms that we would have just set up, and then that will then allow us to make that connection between Zipforms and Docusign once we have those two areas figured out. It's interesting that it's not the same exact username and password that we just set up. That is just for car.org to let you into Zipforms, not Zipform specific. So that's kind of what we,
Well, that information is normally for the administrator. So the administrator would have that and the password, correct? So that way they can connect it to you personally.
Yeah, and it's just when it comes to, well, specifically with us and Docusign, that's how that connection gets established.
Right.
But anything else that Zipforms could be connected to outside of Docusign, and it asks for your Zipforms username and password, it's gonna be this here,
Okay.
yeah. So then we have our offices tab, and, this is the company information, so KWAV. And that is pretty much it here on the settings page, at least that we need to worry about. So let's check out Zipforms a little bit here. So this is where all of your, you can manage all your transactions, you can manage the forms that you, and disclosures that you need for those transactions. That is all, that's all available and set up through here.
I was thinking before you went to this screen, right there where it says forms,
Forms.
right there where it says forms, when you click on the, you're gonna see all the forms that you need.
Yeah, so it's showing all this like stuff on top of the screen, just because we're brand new into the account, and you guys will probably see this as well when you guys sign in for the first time. But we kind of exit all that. Yeah, when you click on forms, it opens up the form library on the next page, and then you're right. Yeah, you see every single form and disclosure, anything that you would possibly need or are looking for, you're gonna find here, all in this list here, or the library. So if we were looking for, let's say for example, a residential purchase agreement, we can just look for it here in the list. Or what might be easier is if you do a search, just because there's so many different forms and sometimes different versions of the same form. That way you can just look for it here and be able to get to it quicker. So, so we see this one right here. And if I were to click on it, it'll tell me the form was added, and I can kind of click away from that. And then here is my my RPA.
What's that form?
Okay, you have two.
This is the residential purchase agreement, the one that I selected here.
You have two forms. There you have residential agreement and you have California. Are they the same?
I did see that. Let's compare the two. I actually don't know what the differences between the two are. It didn't look like it changed.
Yeah, it said it added, but it doesn't look like anything happened.
Yeah, and it could be because it's either the exact same form. Let me just go ahead and close this. Don't save forms. At least from this first page, it looks exactly the same like the other one. And it could be that it is the same exact form, it just maybe just has a slightly different name in the library. But this is, like how you can get to one of the forms here. However, I wouldn't, if you're working on an actual transaction with someone, I wouldn't pull it up this way. What I would do is, if I close all this out, I would start a new transaction. So you can click on the new button, and then it's going to ask you what type of transaction this is. So let's say it's for a new listing, for example. It'll ask you for the property address. So let's say it's this, for example. Say it's just residential, and it's an active listing. And we'll click save. The reason why I would do it this way is because it creates a transaction for this entire, for this whole transaction. And then you can have the different areas here within the transaction, as far as like the address, the MLS number, all of the basic information would all, you can put it all in here, as well as a couple of other items here as well, just from the main screen. And what that does is then it just kind of connects to, the different areas of the transaction. Now, if I were to click on the Documents tab within this transaction, I can get to the area here where all of the forms would get saved just for this one transaction. So then I can click on from here, all forms, and let's say I was looking for that residential purchase agreement from earlier. I can click on it there. And instead of opening it up right away, it's gonna just go ahead and put it right on the, right in the folder. And then from there, I can then open it up. And then that'll open up here in the transaction. And I can go from there and start managing it. And certain things like before the property address that I had just put in just a moment before, it'll actually connect right into the different areas of like this form, of other forms that you have to include. Or
So that's the reason that you did it as a transaction instead of just.
Yeah, for that reason is, certain things like here will just automatically populate into the form for you without having to put them in on every single page manually, one at a time, which is what you would have to do if you just pulled in the form separately from just kind of on its own. And that might be a good way, just pulling up the form on its own, like if you just had to just print out a quick copy of it, just a quick blank copy, you could do it that way. But if you were just, wanted to just kind of start everything from scratch and have everything kind of just kept in one area, setting up the transaction would be the way.
So, Michael, just a quick question. So what you did was you made your cover sheet. Well, that's basically like a cover sheet, right? When you put the info?
Yeah, so that was, I didn't include the cover sheet, but
Oh,
that
there's
would
another
be,
one for cover?
yeah, but that would be actually one of, before you start anything, the cover sheet should come first, because,
So we always do a cover.
while the, that main page there, in the summary, that houses some of the items. The cover sheet, which I usually find at the very top of the list, or if you do a search for cover sheet, you should be able to see it there. Select it, and then be able to open it up. And then this would be your transaction cover sheet right here. What it does connect over, because this was the only information I had, was the address. It brought that in automatically, but then everything else besides that, so like the MLS number for this listing, if that was that, for example, now that is saved in the cover sheet. All other documents that I now put in here would reference the information from the cover sheet, rather than just like a summary page from before. And then pull that through instead. So, this is an even better way to manage all that information. It's just right from right from here. And it's kind of anything that you have information for. So you have your buyer or tenant information. If there's a second one, seller information can go in this section here, and then the property information is on the third page. And that all goes there.
So the cover sheet and the RPA, you can have it manually with your client, and then put in letter into your computer.
Yeah, and it all gets just managed from the cover sheet, right? It all just pulls from
On
there.
the cover sheet.
Mhm. So let's say buyer name was,
Or you can just print the forms and, you know, just do it by hand.
Do it by hand.
And then have your client sign it, you know, and that kind of thing, and then later on, I'm sure you can import that into here.
That's
Can
exactly
you
what
import
I
a
said, yeah.
signature?
what's that?
Have the client, if they sign, wouldn't you, I mean, can you import that?
Yeah, so once you, so I mean, I see it all the time, yeah, there are still clients that, you know, don't have an email address, don't know how to use a computer,
Right.
that sort of stuff.
Like my mother.
You know, then it'd be up to you guys to like, you know, prepare the documents, the forms, and, you know, print them out and have them hand sign them. Yeah, now that you have a hand signed copy of your forms, you would have to scan them through to yourself so that now you have them in a digital file. Which, you know, if you're here at the office, you know, we can do that very easily with the printers that we have here. If you guys don't know how, you know, the printer's work, you can always see, you know, me, Victoria, you know, Joanna, Armando, anyone that's here, we all know how to get that through. Scan it through, you get a PDF file of what you just scanned through, and then that you can then just re-import back into Zipforms, keep it there, or if you want to just skip straight to the end, just upload it straight into Command in the areas that needed, you know, in the area that belongs in your transaction in Command, and you know, and have it done that way. Only reason, or one of the main reasons you'd want to use Docusign rather than, you know, kind of any other way is if you wanted to do Docusign from there, or e-signing from Docusign. You could do it through there, or there's a document splitting option in Docusign as well. So if you upload, you know, the entire RPA, but you needed to split it up, you know, in the different sections, what needs to go where, you can do it from within Docusign. It offers that option.
Or you can just say, sign here.
Sign here and then just upload straight into Command, and then you're, you know, you done.
I'm saying this because my parents will not sign anything online. It's just like, I don't care, you don't give me a paper to sign, I'm not signing, is that, but that's my parents, they're 80-some years old.
Yeah, that's old school.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's better.
some people are just,
Make sure you know what to sign.
my wife is one of the ones that don't sign on the computer, and she's much younger too. She doesn't trust the internet,
Yeah.
and there's no sense, you know,
All right.
changing her mind.
So, that is, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, what, you know, how the basics of Zipforms, how you can sign up for the first time. At this point, Andrew, you're all set to go. You can log into this now and just have access to this without any, you know, without any additional setup. You know, from here on.
Would there be a way I could watch that video that you had skipped earlier, just for my own time?
Yeah, let me see here. I know they have like a tutorials area.
Gavar sent it in their intro. It'll be a link under the attachments of how to sign up, and it'll say the information video for
Oh,
this. It'll say zip files info, and then you can
Yeah.
click it and it opens the same portal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they include, thank you for adding that. They do include their, you know, a lot of the
Their
same
tutorial.
informations. Yeah, besides anything else that they send you email-wise, you know, anything to, you know, to do with Zipforms, a lot of that stuff they do provide for you as well.
Would that be the Zipform training?
Yeah.
And you can always
Here we go.
call their technical support.
Yeah, they, you know, just during business hours that they're open, yeah, they should be able to direct you to, you know, who they have, you know, and, you know, there to be able to help with, answer those types of questions.
Just one more question, on, when, you know, when we do the, like, when we're doing the class with George and with the RPAs, how do we need to reference that as like a training, so that, or is this going to, where they know it's a training, RPA?
So when you're going through like.
Yeah,
through
because
his
he had
class-
us do an RPA, where he gave us the info, and then to see how we're, you know.
You know, if you could like follow the same steps and get to the same
Uh-huh.
area.
But do we need to put, is there an area where we can, in the transaction, where we can say,
Oh, that it's just like a
Yeah.
test? Yeah, so just like what I created here, you know, you could put it in the name
I
of the,
noticed that
you know,
things to
the
do
address,
before-
it's just like a test,
March, whatever it was, or February.
or just be able to name it a little different.
How was it?
Then, of course, you could always remove transactions that you created as tests. You don't have to keep them on here if you know you were just doing them for
training?
for training, yeah. You could just select the transaction that you want to remove, and you have a delete button right here
Oh.
to be able to just remove it.
Oh, okay.
So what follows, actually, yeah, right now in about 10 minutes, George should be coming
Will
in
be
here
the next class.
and taking over from, you know, from this point forward, or now that you guys are, you know, be able to get into Zipforms and but you can get into with what he discusses with the forms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, you know how we get also Docusign through, is it through Gembar, or?
It'd be through KW, through Keller Williams.
But there's another, that's part of the membership also, so you recommend using the Keller Williams one?
Definitely the Keller Williams one
Because it
because
links to our map?
because it links to command, and also it's like the full version
Okay.
of it. You know, because like normally when you sign up for a Docusign account like on your own, yeah, it's always like it's a trial. You know, you have a certain, or it's a free account. You have a certain number of things that you could send out for Docusigning. But not through the one that's set up with Keller Williams, it's the full thing, you know, you have unlimited access to be able to use it.
No, because I thought we get it also through our membership, through Gavar, or through, that was when it says you get free, you know, free Docusign.
I'm not 100% sure about that, but it could be, yeah, something else.
So just use the
Yeah.
Keller Williams.
But it's just better to just use the Keller Williams one, especially
Okay.
because if you, it can kind of cause an issue if you use like the
Back
same
and forth.
email address
Uh-huh.
for two different accounts. I've seen that happen before, where like an agent will set up a DocuSign account on their own with, you know, their email address, and then later on they use that same email address to set up the Keller Williams DocuSign account. Now there is two under the same email, and sometimes it's a little tricky, or I've seen it have issues where, you know, now there's two accounts, but then, you know, you can't use the one you set up before. It's got to be the Keller Williams DocuSign one for it to work properly with command. And you know, if you were to
So,
use-
yeah, so it'd be compatible with the Keller Williams CRM.
Yeah, and in that case, the DocuSign that we provide.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, when they helped me set up, they set me up on NOM, and I didn't have a username. What I have is a number and a password. So how do I log in?
With what
No.
do you have there?
I see it, yep. I see it right here. This is number there.
Oh, okay, so that looks like that's your NRDS number,
Okay,
and then
and this is my password, so what's gonna be my username?
that might be to get into like your NAR account, your National Association of Realtors account, which is how you would be able to see like if your if you needed to renew like your ethics training, which is about every 3 years from when you sign up as an agent. About 3 years during your 4-year renewal cycle is when that ethics training, you'd have to go through it again before your next renewal, license renewal, and so you don't have that, so you have that covered. That sounds like that's what that is. That's what you're to log into your NAR account and not this.
Not the Zipform.
No, I think NAR
No,
is the
that's-
one that gives us the Zipform also.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
why, that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Because that's why I asked, do we use the NAR or Keller Williams, but you said use Keller Williams. Because NAR gave us a zip, that's part of the membership
That
as
number.
well.
Oh, okay, with that. I've never, signed into that, or have accessed any other version of Docusign. Just the one that we work with here, that we have access to with KW and Command. But yeah, it can totally be just something else that you guys have,
It's another part of the membership.
access, and another part of the membership. All right.
Earlier on one of the pages you were on, when you were like setting up the account information, to the right it said like download to Mac or download to like Windows. What was that for? Is that something we need to do or we can do?
So Zipforms isn't really a program anymore, it's just this website, which is great because it just means you can access it from,
Anywhere.
anywhere. This computer, or your laptop, one of our machines out here in the office. It used to be years ago that it was an actual program you had to install on your computer, and, and it was this. But since then, I believe they don't have like a version or anything that you can install, it's just all done through the web.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna leave it open here for when George comes in and takes over.
Next class.
Let me know, you guys, if you have any questions. Oh, something that I just thought of. When it comes to, like, let's say you're in here in one of the forms, and I see this question comes up all the time. Let's say you're in here in the form, and you wanted to print this out. You have the option here to print this form. At any point, like before the print window comes up here, if it says you have there's a pop-up blocker, you'll see it's an error that comes up, and what that does is it prevents the print window from actually opening. The way you can tell and the way you can clear it is, you'll see the error come up, and then you'll see like this red button right in this corner right here. Probably hard to see, but like next to this magnifying glass, be like a little red button. And you'll click on that, and it'll say, do you want to allow pop-ups from, and like it'll say denied as the option. You want to say allow, and it'll say allow from Zipforms. And in that way, you can avoid that issue, that pop-up issue from coming up. And then from there, I should just let you through into this page, because then this is where you can just print this from this print window. So just a heads up, and it might be a little bit different than you guys use. So like this is Google Chrome, but if you use Microsoft or Firefox, that sort of thing, they kind of all show up here in this corner of the screen here. But you just want to allow pop-ups, and then you shouldn't run into any issues trying to print this stuff out. All right.